Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where I just noticed that we don't have to enact frontier colonization because we could just pacify the Turkmens, and that just gives it to us for free. Hilarious. So we now have that, and we want to go colonize Turkmenia basically immediately. We'll get all of that going, and that'll be fine. We do want to go in through Herat to attack, we want to attack Herat, get them annexed, so that we can get this looped up. Or rather linked up, but I don't think we want to go after that right now. I have a strong suspicion that Russia is going to do something about that, and we have a defensive pact with Britain, but that doesn't mean that they'll help us in our offensive actions. So I think that we should hold off on that for the moment, and I would like to think about upgrading our infantry here, which are currently at mostly irregulars. I'd like to get these upgraded to line infantry. So let's get those upgrading. That'll be fine. And we could also upgrade our cavalry, looks like. Yeah, that looks fine. So let's get that going in both of these cases. So let's get these upgraded and get these upgraded as well. So that'll be fine. That'll make our power levels go up a fair amount. But we're going to be running a negative balance here because we have 10K expenses up in Turkmenia. This is going to last for 5 years, according to the tooltip. So that looks absolutely fine. It's understood. So we have nothing under construction right now, and we're currently losing money, and that's noted. So we're not building anything, and that's not necessarily ideal. We shouldn't have everything be on iron frame buildings. So what are we actually short on? So taking a look here, we could definitely use some additional clothing production. We could build that. Russia stopped damaging relations. That's interesting. I don't think we can do anything with that just yet, but very soon we should be able to. I'm thinking about, this is in our vassal. Honestly, yeah, let's do it. That seems fine. So note how we're not building at maximum capacity right now, and there's still an artillery and small arms shortage. Now, my question here is, where are our existing arms and artillery foundries? Okay, so this is in Arabistan, and it's not fully employed. This one is in Persian Kurdistan, as well as in Kandahar. And neither of them are fully employed either. So I don't think we need to attack. I don't think we need to build either of those, and that's understood. What we really need is we need to improve the flow through our markets is what we really, really need here. And we've also got a bureaucracy issue here. Who is this? East India Company. I don't want to mess with the East India Company right now. We're going to hold off on that. Okay, so that's noted. We're colonizing up this way for now. That will be done soon enough. Now, Kandahar, this is going to be a problem, right? I'm actually not going to incorporate this because of our bureaucracy issue. We have a lot of issues at this moment. So I want to check in here. Army Reserves is currently being researched. We're 7 months away on that, and that's relatively fine. We need to get general staff to boost up our training rate and get skirmish infantry. So that is absolutely fine. And then after that, we're going to be beelining railways, which pretty much means that we're going to go for lathe. Although atmospheric engine is going to be the next one, apparently, that we go for. So lathe will continue to be worked on for a while. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. We have a big deficit at this moment. Now, we have some unrealized taxes. That's understood. I kind of want to put in a consumption tax for a few things. Opium is going to definitely be something that's high up on that list, as is luxury clothes. Basically, if it's 100 in here, we probably want to be doing it, but these are going to be very small amounts of income. So I'm going to only run the opium consumption tax for right now. That will not solve our deficit issue, but it will help matters a little bit. We could cut our military wages for right now, although we're not going to want those cut later, for sure. So for the moment, that's reasonably fine. Now, if we look at our standard of living for the lower strata, what's the primary expense here? It's grain. So if we were able to lower the price of grain, that would be pretty useful for us. So that would be in, like, Kandahar for one. But that's kind of out on its own. The current price of grain in Kandahar is reasonably high. Let's build one here, one in Tabriz. I'm just looking at the number of job seekers here and thinking, yeah, this is probably okay. Let's work on getting some of our agriculture going here. I think that's fine. And I'm going to even switch these around like this. So construction efficiency is quite low in Kandahar. This is due to the opinion of people there. I'm going to do this. And we can lower it in Fars as well. There we go. Although I don't think that's going to change anything. Yeah, the turmoil here is the core issue. So that's understood. Okay, they don't have any railways here. I just wanted to double check that. So that seems fine for now. We're going to continue to work up in Turkmenia. I absolutely do want to attack Herat, but we can't just yet. Now, can we improve relations with Russia yet? No. They've still recently expelled our diplomats, so that they're not going to attack us because Britain would come and defend us with the defensive pact. So that's good to know, but Britain is not obligated to help us in offensive actions like attacking Herat. So I want to get our diplomacy with Russia under control first, and I would also like to check here. Okay, we're on all line infantry now, so that's looking good, but we are certainly lacking in artillery and small arms, and there's some starvation happening. So we're definitely going to want to get these wheat farms online to address those issues. So let's get going on that, and we need to build up our economy somewhat. Obviously, we don't have much in terms of income here, and that's going to need to change. Okay, there's a sulfur mine being worked on there. Request to support independence from British East India Company. Again, I don't feel like we're in a position to deal with the British East India Company right now. Where is this famine at? This is in Persian Turkmenia. So that's going to be up over here that's currently under famine. Okay. That's noted. It's going to take us some time to get that under control anyway. So that seems reasonably fine. Let's get this textile mill finished, and we're going to get army reserves finished up soon enough. That's going to be in 9 weeks. And lathe is, of course, still being worked on. That is currently showing as 9 to 13 months. Well, actually, I don't know exactly how much it is. The technology research spread is 11 to 35, right? So when is that going to finish? Well, it's at 4.03K. We could run some calculations here. 4.03 minus 7.5. That's, of course, 3.47. It's negative, but I don't care about that. I'm going to divide that. I need to multiply that by 1,000 and then divide that by 11. Minimum worst case scenario is 315 and a half weeks. So 316 weeks divided by 4, that's like 79 months approximately, something like that. Okay, so that's going to take some time. I'm fine with that. So everything is proceeding reasonably well here. Actually, our finances are improving quite a lot. That's a good sign. And we're going to continue to work up over here with Persian Turkmenia. So that's making progress. I like it. We are, of course, working on getting these wheat farms done. Apparently that was a fake improvement in our finances. That's understood. So army reserves have been unlocked, and that's fine. Now we should be working on general staff. And the question is, how long is it going to take us to research this? That's going to be a while. So 15,000 divided by 55. That's 271, call it 272 weeks. Divide that by 4. That's going to be, as I apparently spill my tea directly into my keyboard. I will be right back. So the good news is the keyboard appears to be fine. The bad news is it says right here how long it's going to take us. It's going to take 5 years. I don't want to spend 5 years right now on general staff. So we're going to come in and we're going to grab Atmospheric Engine. Well, that's going to be 4 years. Lathe is going to be a little faster, but I'm going to grab Atmospheric Engine just because Lathe is already being worked on through exposure. And then after we get Atmospheric Engine and Lathe, then we'll grab Mechanical Tools, and then we'll go down and grab Railways. So that should be reasonably good. That's going to take some amount of time, but we're just delaying when we're going to take General Staff. I'm going to take General Staff after Railways. So there we go. That should be absolutely fine for right now. Let's proceed forward here. And we'll continue our colonization and continue expanding our wheat farms. What I want to do right now is I want to provide just more food. That's the primary goal. So if we look at our current lower strata, we can see that they are struggling due to the price of grain, clothes, and opium. Grain is by far the biggest thing, and I want to get that solved. We have a hard time transporting things around, right? So what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's at least one level of grain production in each one of these locations. Now, we can't build one in Persian Turkmenia at this point. We don't have enough arable land there. So we're going to have to wait until we get more arable land, but that's understood. So we're going to get all of these wheat farms queued up. I'm going to move down any that have reduced, we need to alt-click to move to bottom. There we go. We want to move down any that have reduced construction efficiency for right now. So something along the lines of that should do the trick. So we're going to get some grain production going here. As you can see, our GDP has spiked up. And that's, of course, due to our construction resuming. So that's understood. We are deficit spending at this time, and that's going to be a bit of a problem eventually. We're spending 10.1K per month on our interest. I wonder if we could get Britain to pay off our debts at some point. Probably not right now. I don't think I would look to do that right now. But if we could get them to do this, that would be amazing. They would not accept. They have 240 reasons not to. Okay, mostly because they're currently in debt as well. That's understood. We can dig ourselves back out of debt eventually. How much are we spending on construction at this moment? Okay, so like 20K. That's not necessarily ideal. We obviously need to expand our tax base, but as we're able to get our standard of living back up, we should be able to bring our taxes up somewhat. But yeah, this is only going to be like 5.92K. So that's understood. We should probably do this. That's going to affect our standard of living significantly, but we're going to need to do that. And the standard of living should start to improve again eventually, but yeah, these guys, they're paying a lot of their income in taxes, and that's understood. Indeed. That is definitely understood. Can we change around our tax scheme at this moment? No, we're still on land-based taxation. So I would definitely like to boost these up, but we are lacking the technology for that. So that's understood right now. Okay, so wheat farms in Isfahan are going to be finishing up in 4 weeks here. That'll help matters. We need to get all of this construction finished up as soon as possible. So we're at least able to help out with some of our investment pool transfer, so there's some of that going on. Financial districts are looking to expand food industries. That's not a bad thing there, actually. I'm pretty okay with that. So we'll get those wheat farms finished up. There's one batch of them done. That's excellent. And our number of peasants is 1.33 million. I do want to go through and look at some of these. I want to be on craftsman sewing, I think, or just prioritize non-luxury clothing, probably. The price of clothing is reasonably high, and let's just swap this over. Yeah, I know Tabriz is not going to be very happy about that, but for the time being, this is going to have to be it. None of the arms industries are owned by us. That's fine. So we're going to need to check through pretty much all of these production methods, and that's fine. We don't have anything we can change here. For the wheat farms, we can have this be on citrus orchards, and that will ultimately not, I think, be useful. Let's have them maintain single crop for now, or actually, let's just leave that be for the time being. But I do want to go up to harvesting tools. So that is understood. Let's do that. For livestock ranches, butchering tools would be ideal. Yes, we know that tools are a bit scarce right now, but we're working on it. Tobacco plantations we don't actually control. Urban centers I'm not going to make any changes to at this time, nor am I going to make any changes to ports. Sawmills, definitely. This is going to be more tools, that's understood. And this, I think, is probably about where we want it to be. One hardwood production, the rest of them not. So something along the lines of that. Now that's going to cause us some issues, for sure. And yes, standard of living is absolutely going to be a problem here for a little bit. As you can see, our standard of living has heavily dropped due to our taxation. And that's not shocking. Okay, so let's get these wheat farms going. I do want to put those other consumption taxes back in. We need to get every little scrap of money we can at this moment. So we're going to put in luxury clothing, luxury furniture. We've got 3 more we can do. So we could do wine. We could do... Hang on, let's go back. We could do glass. And then we could do liquor. So that's going to offset our deficit somewhat. But definitely not enough. So this guy is retired. That's understood. We have a mining accident, and that's understood. Industrialists or trade unions or rural folk. To be honest, we're going to go for rural folk for right now. We could get a rich political scene. I guess that's fine. So I do want to check to see if there are any other laws that we could change. We could change our monarchy, or we could change our local police force to a dedicated police force. Okay, and I think we should do this. Except that the landowners are going to be very upset about it. The question is, do we care about the landowners being upset about that? The only other things that we could change... Oh, we could go off of peasant levies onto professional army. Again, the landowners, they're going to be upset. I'm not sure we actually want to go for any of that right now. Although I would definitely like to get off of peasant levies. Mass conscription would be pretty ideal. We can't go to national militia. We could try professional army, but I'm willing to bet that the landowners are going to throw up too much of a stink for this. They're still at happy +6, so maybe they'll be okay with it. We'll see if we're able to get some decent rolls here. Our oppressed siblings in Russia, huh? Sure. So these guys are going to join the Anti-Russia League. Sounds good. Okay, so our primary issue at this moment is, of course, financial, right? Our interest is getting worse and worse and worse all the time. We're going to be reaching our credit cap eventually, but we need to get all of these wheat farms constructed as soon as we can. That'll be a big part of this. And the construction good cost is construction good plus interest plus the additional expenses. That's the core issue here, right? The additional expenses are going to be a big chunk of it. When do those expire? So that's going to be in 3 years. Okay. So that's understood. That's the primary issue. Wait, we can do something here? We can request a British military mission. So we would get South Persia rifles permanently, giving us a 5% kill rate. Great Britain would begin sending us military assistance, and the British Empire would gain leverage here. Okay, we'll request a British military mission, and let's see what happens with that. That should be interesting. Great Britain accepted the request, so there's now a military mission here, and what is our current fighting strength? Number 14? Okay, so Great Britain is number 8. They're pretty far behind Russia at this point, but speaking of Russia, I want to see, can we improve here yet? Not yet, surprisingly. I thought that we'd be able to start improving here. Is this still... Or does that drift back towards neutral over time? It seems like that's just holding. Okay. So that's understood. We're working on enacting professional army. We're also working on colonizing all of this up in Turkmenia, which will eventually get done. But that's going to be a fairly long-term project, and that's understood. We just had a debate success here, bringing us up to 17% on professional army. Not too bad, really. I like it. Kazakh Khanate here. This isn't really Russia that's going to be involved in anything significant here. So that's unfortunate, of course. I would like it if they were going to, like, fight China or something. That would give us an opportunity to definitely attack Herat. But for right now, I do want to start improving relations with them as soon as we can, which will be eventually. Eventually. So the wheat farms in Semnan are finishing up now. We are at minus 28 construction efficiency, and that's understood. Honestly, I feel like we have to cut our taxes for the time being, just because of the standard of living issue. So that's understood. We're going to get these wheat farms finished up, and they will eventually be done. And we can also do some privatization, I think, to make some of this money back. So if we were to do that, if we were to go into our buildings here, hypothetically, and we were to go to some of these, specifically, these are only urban buildings? Oh, I want to be in all buildings. There we go. If we were to go into all of our buildings here, and we were to go to our wheat farms, and we were to start privatizing some of these, right? We could start doing that. So these are currently nationalized, and we could work on privatization. So this is privatization toggled on at this point. This allows investors to buy the wheat farm levels from Persia for 50K per level. So that will help us for sure. So we'll allow privatization on these wheat farms, and there are some other things that I'm interested in allowing privatization on as well. That would be things like rice farms, I'm okay with privatization. Livestock ranches, iron mines, sulfur mines, those are fine. Cotton, dye, maybe not opium plantations, maybe opium plantations. Tea plantations, tobacco, silk, vineyards, those are fine. And logging camps and fishing wharves. Most of those are fine. Things that I don't want privatized at this moment include things like arms industries and the artillery foundry. Furniture manufactories I'm okay with. Textile mills, probably fine. Food industries, fine. Glassworks I'm fine with. As long as things that are military, specifically. Eventually, we're going to be okay with privatizing these as well. For the moment, though, not so much. Okay, so that's underway, and we're working on expanding tooling workshops here. Understood. Okay, so at this moment, we definitely do have a bureaucracy issue, right? There's no doubt about that, and that bureaucracy issue is costing us about 7.48K in unrealized taxes, mostly due to tax waste. That's understood. Our biggest expenditure, though, interest. And we need to get that dealt with. Absolutely. So I'm going to cancel these wheat farms because they're going to be inefficient. We're going to get this one finished, and then we're going to stop constructing for a moment. I want to see where that puts us at financially. Okay. So that's 22.2K. That's understood. The investment pool is, of course, shrinking here. And that's fine. I'm okay with the investment pool shrinking at this moment. So what do we want to do in order to get this turned around? We need to pay off some of this interest. A big part of that is the additional expenses. And then, of course, there's the construction goods expenses, but that's being covered entirely by the investment pool at this time. So what can we do here? There's no minting that we can do there right now. We're currently doing some minting. There's tariffs, there's government dividends, consumption taxes, poll taxes, and income taxes. That's all understood. Is there anything that we can get Britain to do here? They have 225 reasons to not take on our debt. They're not interested in a trade agreement at this point. Okay, so our main issue here, of course, is financial, right? So we need to have this dealt with, no doubt about that. What else can we do? Well, we do have some unrealized taxes down here, that's for sure. But I don't think there's anything that we can really do with that right now, at this exact moment. So I do want to see some privatization happening. That will go a long ways here. The art of doing nothing, huh? Well, the armed forces are thinking about tossing their support behind this. Done. So that looks good. We're at 17% on professional army right now. So that's understood. So this private construction is going to finish up in 6 weeks. This is that food industry, and I don't mind that food industry coming in, right? So these guys are currently trying to buy grain, but 35.5% of their income is grain. That's understood. So their standard of living has definitely raised, but we need to get our finances under control at this moment. I don't want to continue to deficit spend too much more than this. So what we need to do right now is we need to get these food industries finished. This tooling workshop will need to finish as well. So that will be available soon. And then I'm hoping that we're going to see them start doing some privatization. Yes, this is what I want to see. Okay, so that looks good. Privatization is fantastic, and we need to have that continuing to happen, but I'm not 100% certain. I don't know how many levels there are in Arabistan. 275k needed currently? Okay. Right. So that's all going to need things. Lobby demand, they want an embargo against Russia. Well, for the time being, I actually just want to improve relations with Russia, but we still can't do that. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to work on this financial situation. The main thing that we need right now is to get this interest paid off, and that's going to happen primarily through privatization. So that is understood. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and that is the wrong button. And that's also the wrong button. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGar, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.